2. Check. Check 1, 2. Mike check 1, 2.
1, 2. Test 1, 2.
Great location, history, workforce, innovation. Is that what you think of when you hear the words Wheeling, West Virginia? Well, here's the real legacy of Wheeling. We were the first gateway to the West. We became a hub of the Industrial Revolution. We helped build the steel industry on our river, the coal industry in our hills. We became a haven for business innovation and some of the wealthiest business developers on the planet. Wheeling, West Virginia helped move the country forward. And what about now? There's a new Wheeling, one that's inviting to new and growing companies and creating jobs. It's a whole new approach, an innovative transition from an industrial-centered economy to one that brings together the best in low-overhead economic development, one that's attracting businesses with a global reach, creating new offices out of structures long forgotten, building a new energy sector revolution, and a thriving high-tech hub. A city that has turned a declining riverfront into a vibrant landmark. Building resorts and parks on iconic areas while maintaining historic integrity. Developing empty hillsides, lots, and fields into retail, educational, and healthcare destinations. Reducing tax burdens and nurturing both small and large businesses. Once again, Wheeling is innovating, transforming, and most of all, inviting the world to live, work, and play in one of the safest cities in the U.S. What is it about this Wheeling metro area that's so inviting? Take a moment and explore. Wheeling does offer a pro-business environment, but also a pleasing blend of history, culture, fine dining, metropolitan features found both here and in our neighboring cities, outdoor recreation, and annual festivals, all guaranteed to provide you with true American hospitality. Wheeling is a riverfront city where the bluegrass meets jazz, blues, rock, and our own symphony. We are the heart of a vibrant metropolitan tri-state area with neighboring Ohio and Pennsylvania, a region of over more than 200,000 people, making us culturally alive and diverse. Located on the I-70 corridor between Pittsburgh and Columbus, Wheeling is home to a safe, comfortable lifestyle with big city amenities not found in most small towns, including Broadway shows and the historic Capitol Theater. That's why so many are saying we offer more. More accessibility, more centralized location, more cost savings for business, more fun with museums, shopping, nightlife, and a huge music scene. More restaurants, offering everything from our own brand of fish and our own style of pizza to great local eateries and fine gourmet dining. More development and growth, a revitalized riverfront, unique shopping at our center market, and the Highlands. State-of-the-art government buildings, global operations centers, casinos, resorts, more technology, more excellent schools, more excellent healthcare, more sports, like our own pro hockey team, the Wheeling Nailers, and a short ride to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. And to top it off, Wheeling is more appealing, recognized as one of the most livable small metros in the country. It all adds up to an energetic and welcoming city. Modern, progressive, and moving forward again. So now you know. Go ahead, enjoy the Wheeling Metro. Move yourself or a business here. Find a site and start or grow a company here. Explore our excellent funding sources and tax incentives. Learn about our business resources and live in the comfort, safety, and low-cost environment right here in the center of America. Wheeling, a city that's growing, transforming, innovating, inviting, and a city dedicated to making things happen for you. I'm John Corbett, and Wheeling is the place I call home.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cardinal Cast, coming to you live from Bishop Schmidt facilities here on the campus of Wheeling Jesuit University. We got rugby. Exciting action for you as WJU hosts Penn State, Division I school coming into town. Don Watson bringing you all the action. Get ready for our live broadcast. We got some special guests for you today. Tell you what, I am so excited. Special announcers, we got Lee Powell from up in Canada and Bo Newsman joining us. Gentlemen, thank you for being a part of Cardinal Cast.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, this is going to be a pretty decent match, I think, today. They're both in the standings fairly close to each other. Maybe Wheeling has a bit of an advantage because it's home field.
There's lots of juice here in the stadium, that's for sure. People are tailgating. The stands are fairly full. And if anything, the warm-up is any indication, this should be a heck of a game.
Yeah. We got a bit of a wind here today, but it's sort of swirling in the bowl. 1 minute it's going one way, the next minute it's going the other. So I don't know it'll have a major effect on either teams and how they play today.
You know, Bo, you mentioned earlier that there was a big size difference between Penn State and WJU. Didn't know if it was going to be that noticeable. Maybe it's some of the jerseys and the outfit and the colors, but there definitely seems to be an advantage.
Yeah, we'll see if Penn State decides to keep the ball in the forts and try and take advantage of that size.
We got about a minute, 30 seconds to kick off while they're introducing the teams here. Don't know Penn State's record, but I'm assuming they're undefeated coming into this match as well. But Wheeling itself has had 2 good wins.
Well, you have a historic program and a program that's on the rise. So I think we throw the records out and just kind of look forward to good rugby today there, Lee.
Player introductions down on the field. Lee and Bo, I really do appreciate you guys coming in. I think between the two of you, you've got like 100 years experience. So.
That's because Bo's so old. Here we go, kickoff's on. Referee signaling a knock-on by Penn State, so it's advantage to Wheeling Jesuit.
That's a good center crash.
It's nice to see Wheeling's running the ball. They're not taking advantage of that knock-on call for a scrum. Advantage is over, so Penn State now controls the ball.
All right. Well, Lee, there's a big flanker there, so they are trying to use their forwards in their offense. That's Penn State.
Yeah, unfortunately for Penn State, he dribbled the ball back into a Wheeling player. Wheeling kicks it to get the pressure off from Penn State.
That's Ryan Griggs from Sacramento. That's the winger.
Ooh, unfortunately we had 3 missed tackles by Wheeling, but there's a knock-on by Penn State. Wheeling's got the advantage, and they keep on playing it. So the advantage from the knock-on is over.
Oh, nice.
Nice offload, but unfortunately dropped the ball. Knock-on by Wheeling, so we got a scrum down for Penn State. First scrum of the game. Having 2 front row players as your announcers, it's the best part of the game.
Well, yeah, I didn't see any advantage there for Penn State in that scrum. I thought Wheeling did a nice job of steadying up that first scrum.
Yeah, they didn't get pushed back, but it was a nice steady scrum for Penn State, and you can see that they're moving the ball well off it, taking advantage of the offense from it. Oh, and there's a penalty against Wheeling for diving over the ball. So someone left their feet, ended up over the ball, which slowed it down, wouldn't come out to Penn State. Penalty against Wheeling.
Yeah, that was flanker Zachary Reichenbach, number 6, that did a nice job of driving the ball in and maintaining possession for Penn State.
So Penn State's going for 3 and the penalty kick.
Yeah, I think it's important in a game like this where you got a little bit of nerves and get some points on the board as soon as you can.
Kick is through. Penn State's up 3-0.
And Lee, this is my favorite part of rugby is winners. So Penn State scored and they actually get to receive the ball. Or if you're certain parts of the country, they call it make it, take it. So that's make it, take it.
4 minutes into the game, we got Penn State with the lead 3-0. Nice high kick from Wheeling. Gives him a chance to try to gain repossession.
There's like Tyler made that take for Penn State. Not much room there on the sideline, was it?
Wheeling player was pushed out of bounds, so we have our first line out going to Penn State.
Well, I think they look evenly matched, or I may even give a tip towards Wheeling Jesuit in the height here in this lineout. We'll see. See if they can take advantage. As much as height is an advantage, so is technique.
So the object here is that the hooker that's got the ball in his hands has got to throw it straight down the middle so it's equal opportunity. The advantage they have, which they just took Wheeling, is the height and the lift they got.
That's Chris Burry.
Nice break. Offload, but he unfortunately dropped the ball. Penn State regained possession, and they've got advantage from the knock on by Wheeling. Wheeling has kicked it out of bounds, so the referees determined that they got advantage from that knock on. So we have line out now for Wheeling.
Yeah, it's just unlucky for Chris Burry. And I got the wrong guy, Coach. I'm looking at the wrong team. That's Peter Malcolm from Parkland, Florida for Wheeling Jesuit. Made that break and lost it in possession. Cecil Rich to his fellow prop Max Lund.
Nope, he's not in. Close, but no cigar, and there's the first try for Wheeling.
So Peter Malcolm, who made that earlier run and lost the ball, redeemed himself and scored the try.
It was a nice play. The Wheeling player that got tackled after that break threw the ball up, and fortunately for them, the Penn State player coming back knocked it back into his own end, and Wheeling was able to re-pick it up and scored from it.
So we were wondering about the pack and how that was going to work out, Wheeling versus Penn State. Well, Wheeling's got a very mobile pack. That was loose head prop to the tight head prop, and it was finished by the number 8, Peter Malcolm.
Yeah, Wheeling looks fairly fit team. I mean, Penn State's got some big forwards, probably size-wise, weight-wise, bigger than Wheeling. But Wheeling's mobility and fitness and speed is certainly making up for that size difference. So the kick was missed by number 14, and we're now at 5-3 for Wheeling. Just over 8 minutes into the match.
Yeah, that was a pretty tough angle for Brandon. As you know, in rugby, you have to kick the conversion right, Lee, from the point where it's crossed, dotted down in the goal line.
That's right, yeah. Wheeling wasn't able to retake that kick from the kickoff. That's one of the reasons that the team that scored on kicks, because they get an opportunity, equal opportunity to regain the ball from the kickoff, so they do short, high ones. Wheeling was called offside, so the backs did not have their last foot behind the ruck where it's supposed to be, and when they charged, they were called offside. And Penn State's going for another 3 points.
Let's go, Cards!
Got a loud fan.
The crowd's waking up, I think.
For our viewers that don't understand, we're outside in the elements just with the fans. So
the kick is good. So Penn State retakes the lead 6-5.
I think there's Jimmy Ronan, number 9, the scrum half for Penn State, making that kick. So that's kind of tough for Wheeling. You go down and you work real hard. You get a try, and here you're kind of steaming ahead, and then you kind of give them a cheap one on the restart, Lee.
Well, that's good for Penn State to make a statement, come right back down and score some points and retake the lead. That helps give you a little bit more momentum and shake off the try that was just scored. So Wheeling kicks it deep, and Penn State kicks it into touch for safety. And we've got a line out going to Wheeling.
Santana Julian did a nice job of throwing that ball in. I thought Wheeling was going to give that to the forwards. Leading just, yeah.
Yeah, they made great movement out wide and came up, popped to a forward who was a little bit isolated on his own, and two Penn State players held him up, so they got slow ball from it. And then just an awkward pass that went into touch. So we got Penn State line out. So Penn State set their line and then decided they wanted to go with a bigger line out, but you can't do it. So as the two players came charging in, the referee told them to head back. Once your line out is set, you can't add or delete from it. Knock on in the line out from Penn State, so Wheeling has a scrum and another chance to redeem itself from the poor pass that went into touch.
Wheeling's been bringing their fullback Alan Hansen in an attack. You think they may do it here, or is it too far out, Lee?
No, I think they like to go wide. I mean, they got a good advantage last time they went wide, so I think you'll probably see that again. If you bring your fullback in, you can create a bit more space and an overlap, and that's where you want to find that hole and gap to put somebody else through.
First, they got to win this scrum, keep their ball.
Yeah, Penn State got a good push on in that scrum and had them disrupted a bit. But number 8 picked it up and created opportunity for a try.
Yeah, Peter Malcolm, that was a little fairly shifty for number 8.
That's good support because your number 8 took the ball in the tackle, passed it off, and then got himself back up and down the field for the offload and the try. So as much as Penn State was able to put pressure on the Wheeling scrum, Wheeling's back row was pretty quick off the ball, and that fitness and pace again created it. Oh. Now, what's going on here?
I was going to say, did they call it back? Or did they say?
He may have called it back for a forward pass.
Yeah, because it was tight. I was wondering about that.
Tight, yeah.
I was wondering about that
Offload
pass.
to the number 8
Yes.
must have been a forward pass.
Unfortunate.
So we got a Penn State scrum. They keep it nice and steady to give themselves some good ball.
And their number 8 picks up the ball. That's Chris Burrian.
Wheeling has a penalty for not releasing, so when you tackle a player, the tackler must release him right away and roll away. That provides the opportunity for the other team to have quick ball. Wheeling tackler didn't do it, so it's a penalty against Wheeling, and Penn State's kicking for touch advantage down the field.
Both sides have dynamic number 8s.
And he didn't find touch, so we're back into action.
Tyler May recovered that kick
There's a
from Penn State.
Penalty against Wheeling. Looks like the referee is signaling Penn State came in from the side on that ruck. When you get into a ruck, you've got to come from your own side at the back end of the ruck. So Penn State player came in from the side to try to disrupt it. So penalty against Penn State. Wheeling is kicked down to take that possessive lineup further down the field. Get some advantage from it.
We'll see if they can get the ball back to Brandon Stein here for Wheeling. No, instead, they got the big center, number 12.
Good defensive play by number 14 to Wheeling had an overlap, and he was able to stuff him before he could pass the ball for the overlap. Penalty against Wheeling. A penalty against Penn State. The Wheeling player took it quick, dove into the end zone, but knocked it on. But the referee's coming back because there was no advantage to Wheeling from the penalty. And look from the signal again that Penn State was coming in the side of that ruck. So rather than taking points, Wheeling is going to play the ball. Pop it off to their forwards.
And they got their number 8 sitting out wide, does Wheeling. Peter Malcolm.
Ball squirts out. Wheeling didn't control the breakdown. Penn State took advantage of it and cleared for touch down the field to get the pressure off.
That was a good bit of defense because Penn State was on the ropes there a little bit. Seems Wheeling Jesuit is trying an inside-outside game. They're bringing in, they're running their centers, they're bringing forwards out wide, and they're just kind of testing Penn State's defense.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of angle running. Offloads to people running angles in hopes to get past that gain line.
There's Fakasala, the center again. This time, well, he's still driving. You know he's from Suva, Fiji, and they play some good rugby out there in Fiji.
Big runners.
Oh, it's dangerous.
It's good clean out on the ruck. Penn State's doing some good things at the ruck, but again, a penalty. It's 3 or 4, so I'm wondering if the referee will start to talk to them and warn them before yellow cards come out. Again, it's a player off his feet trying to play the ball from Penn State. So Wheeling again will kick down the field to take advantage. Regain possession from a line out further down the field.
Yeah, that's the emphasis in rugby, is play the game on your feet. Even when you're tackled, they want you to get up. If you tackle someone, they want you to get up, and they want fast, clean play in rugby.
Well, Wheeling's been doing a great job in the lineouts. They've won pretty much all they have.
There's that crashing number 8, Peter Malcolm.
Had a nice offload, but the Penn State player intentionally knocked the ball forward, knocked the ball down from the pass, and therefore it's a penalty against Penn State. You're not allowed to do that. And Wheeling's going for 3 points in hopes to take the lead. Very tight game, so when you get a chance to take points, you should be taking them.
Lee, if you're Penn State, what do they need to do to change the rhythm? Because Wheeling Jesuit's been in this half pretty much the whole game.
Well, it's pretty hard because, Wheeling is playing a pretty quick game. They're aggressive, they're fit, they're fast, and they move the ball fairly well. So, except for a couple of minor knock-ons or this or that or controlling at the ruck, they could have had a couple more tries. I think that pace has got Penn State on their heels. So the kick is good. The score now stands 8-6 for Wheeling, and we're halfway through the first half. I would think at this point that Penn State might try to slow the ball down with their bigger forwards, keep it tight, and do some forward picks and runs and pull Wheeling in so they can't play the wide game they're playing.
If they don't do it now, they may think about it and work it in at halftime. Nice take.
Nice take on the kickoff by Wheeling.
Here come the forwards.
Nice pickup on a unfortunate pass.
Sloppy now.
Referee signal a knock-on by Penn State.
Jamie Barrow took it up for Wheeling.
Wheeling's running off their advantage.
That was big prop Max Lund taking it up as far as he could.
And he's run out of bounds, and we have a line out for Penn State.
Well, those big heavies only want to go about 10, 20 meters, and it's time to get out on the sidelines.
What?
except for the fit ones.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Back in Canada, they're all fit and fast.
All right. Because I knew you weren't speaking from experience there, Mr. Lee. All right.
Penn State won their line out, but didn't take it cleanly, so they put themselves into some trouble.
Chris Berrien did a nice job, though,
and
dropping
it
it
looks like
up.
Wheeling has stole the ball, but he's knocked on trying to pick it up.
Man.
Good steal. So we get scrum down from the knock-on to Penn State.
You kind of see this at every level. Sometimes guys kind of get excited and work a little bit faster than their hands and feet can coordinate.
Yeah. Safest thing in those points is just to fall on the ball and gain possession and then let your players come over and ruck over top of you. Then you know you've got good secured ball and can play off it. Refs called the scrum up. It wasn't steady. There was feet moving. When you start a scrum off, after he calls set, he waits to make sure that it's steady for safety purposes. So if it's not, he calls it up, and they reset.
Is that for safety reasons? You got a lot of beef out there that's pushing.
Yeah, but you don't want it collapsing, and or coming loose, and if it's not set and solid, when the ball comes in, then there's a greater opportunity of that happening.
That's Mike Ife for Penn State. Sorry, that's Ryan Greggs from Penn State making the break, the winger. Let's go. Ryan Greggs, the winger, making a break, but
he got caught. I didn't think they were going to catch him, but those big guys move pretty quick. Desperate to do it.
For Penn State, yeah, you're right about that.
Now we got a penalty against Penn State for coming around offside on the side after the ball, and an injured Penn State player.
Yeah, it looked like Ryan was trying to move so he could center the ball for the score to me, because he had a straight line down the sidelines.
Is that leg cramp?
Looks like it. Wheeling is playing a good defense. They play what's called a drift defense, where the player goes up and has the player that they're supposed to cover, and if that player passes off, then they start to drift out, but not until the ball moves out. So they've got the ball covered if it goes straight, and then they got extra help once they pass it out. Penn State keeps passing it out and getting into trouble with their backs when that happens.
Today's a warm day here in early fall, so cramp's not unusual.
And that's an artificial turf down there, and it's about 20 degrees warmer on that turf.
On the turf, yeah.
Right. With Tyler Mays back. Tyler. I'm sorry. I switched my card around, folks. I apologize.
So the Wheeling kick is good. Another 3 points, and the score now stands 11-6 for Wheeling with 15 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, it was. This Tyler May, he's recovered from that cramp, and hopefully he'll be able to finish the half. Jimmy Ronan puts up a high ball there, Lee.
Nice easy take, no pressure at all for Wheeling. They gain nice possession. And they're going wide again. That's where their speed is. Nice dummy. Nice offload back in, but he stepped out of bounds. Unfortunate. Wheeling's moving that ball wide quickly after giving an offload to the forwards. When they give an offload to the forwards like that, that pulls in their flankers and number 8 so they can't get across on defense. They got to stop that pop to the forwards, and then a quick ball from that means there's not as good a defense out wide.
Yeah, the fullback and winger work well together. Alan Hansen and Ryan Griggs.
Penn State gets a good clean line out.
They seem to be trying to test the middle of Wheeling's defense.
Oop, there's a penalty. So in the ruck and the tackle, the ball was there, and the Wheeling player put his hands on it and threw it back out to his side, which you're not allowed to do. You can't play the ball on the ground if you're on the ground, so it's a penalty against Wheeling. Penn State's kicking down the field for touch to gain advantage. And
Pat Kuzik did a nice job.
Nice kick, yep.
Yeah.
So we have Penn State with the line out at about Wheeling's 20. And a good chance to put some pressure on Wheeling for Penn State.
It looks like Penn State's setting something up in their backs here. Oh.
All right, they did a nice little Jimmy play by the scrum half to break through, but unfortunately his offload was knocked on. So we now have scrum Wheeling after Penn State's knock on.
Yeah, you often see that in rugby. The backs are talking and setting up a play, and the forwards go, you know what, we got this for the moment. And that looked like one of those times.
So Wheeling has the chance here with a nice scrum to relieve the pressure. And off they go. Number 8 picks up. Again, a good job of running it. He needs that support there.
Yeah, Peter Malcolm kind of got left himself naked there this time.
That's what happened. He got himself alone. Penn State got over the ball and defense, and it ended up that Wheeling were going down and over the ball, trying to protect it because they got there a little bit late. Penalty against Wheeling. Penn State's going for 3. Get themselves a little closer in the game.
Yeah, rugby communication is important. That flanker on that side should have known that number 8 was going, and he might have been there in support of Peter.
Yeah. Well, flankers, once the ball's in, they should be able to have their eyes on it the whole time. So if it's your ball, they should be able to take a look and see. And if it's picked up by your number 8, or if it's in the opposition's feet, you can see if their number 8 picks it up. And then you can release and get involved in the play. Penn State kick is good, so the score now stands 11-9 for Wheeling with 11 minutes left in the half.
That was a good kick. That's a fairly tough angle. He's trying, kicked it high, maybe trying Vasikalak can get underneath it. No.
Good pressure by Wheeling defense.
Jimmy Ronan dug it out.
No opportunity to move the ball, so Penn State kicks it down the field to relieve the pressure.
I'm not sure what Michael DeBallas was thinking about that when he just kind of kicked it down the pitch.
He was pretty much alone down there, so I think he just wanted to get play down in their end. And Wheeling making a good stab in that ruck of trying to steal the ball, but the Penn State player held on to it too long. In the ruck, the tackler's got to release, and then the ball carrier's got to release the ball. Penn State was holding on. Penalty for Wheeling. Nice kick down the field. So they have a line out at about Penn State's 15 and a chance to put pressure on, maybe get another score.
I think they're looking for a try with that move.
Yeah, try off the line out.
Yeah, we thought so.
The line out went over the jumper, but a Wheeling player was able to catch it and took it in himself for about 15 yards through a couple of people and scores a nice try.
Yeah, Wheeling Jesuit's playing with a lot of confidence. They're not looking at Penn State and saying, hey, this program and history and all that sort of stuff. They're like, hey, we're here to make a statement. Our program is on the rise, and let's play some rugby.
Yeah, they've had Penn State under pressure all game long. Penn State's had a couple of opportunities down at the other end, but haven't been able, except for Wheeling penalties, to put any points on the board from an offensive standpoint. But most of the game has been played down at Penn State's end. That's either because Wheeling's kicking it down there to play there, or their quick speed and possession has taken the ball down. Kick after was missed. So after the try, the score stands at 16 for Wheeling and 9 for Penn State. with just under 8 minutes left in the half.
Penn State put good pressure on that kick.
Yeah, the referee's not signaling. It certainly looked like the Wheeling player knocked that ball on, which would have given advantage to Penn State. But they have the ball and the advantage anyways, and now they're putting pressure on Wheeling. Wheeling's defense is holding strong. They've pushed them back about 10 yards.
It's quite a drive. Good gracious.
A lot of power in those legs. Oh, nice try by Penn State.
They had Chris Burton, that was the number 8, and I can't see who scored.
Number 11 for Penn State scored.
So Mike Ife, that was just, they've been using that number 8 wide quite a bit, and he crossed the gap, and Mike Ife got the try.
Yeah, there was 2 nice offloads on that try. They gave it to a forward that took it on pretty hard. 2 quick offloads created the space. Penn State does a good job of answering that try with another try.
Well, I guess when your program has such a long history, you don't blink when you're under pressure. They came right back.
So the kick after is good. And the score now stands Wheeling 16 and Penn State should have 16.
Yeah.
With just over 5 minutes left in the first half.
That's right.
So we've got a tied game. We're right back at the start. It's been a good equalized battle that we thought was going to happen on this field. It's anybody's rugby game.
Cecil Rich for Wheeling trying to tip it back to his teammates, but
it was knocked on by Penn State, so we've got a scrum down for Wheeling and a chance for them now to answer back from Penn State's try.
Cecil Rich is a Washington, D.C. native. So am I. Go ahead, Cecil. Get it going, boy. Scrum half Jimmy Ronan got that ball, dug it out pretty quickly, spun it out.
Unfortunately for Wheeling, when the scrum half put the ball in, it hit a leg and bounced on the Penn State side, and Penn State stole the scrum. So now they've got Wheeling under pressure.
Ooh.
There's a penalty against Wheeling. Same thing, Penn State was trying to pass the ball back, and a Wheeling player knocked it forward intentionally. So it's a penalty against Wheeling.
It looks like Gabe Tupper for Penn State's a little nicked up. Looked like as he hit that gap, someone clipped his foot and he may have tweaked his ankle a little bit. He's trying to walk it off. Or actually the medic's coming out to tend to him.
So we've got a line out at Wheeling's 25 for Penn State. And they're in an opportunity now to put Wheeling under pressure again. It's a pretty close game, and any team that starts making some little mistakes like these knock-ons or penalties, that could turn the tide one way in somebody's favor. You know, if they get momentum from scoring, the next score is going to be pretty big to see who's going to try to pick up on that momentum.
That's right. Looks like Gabe Tupper for the Nittany Lions is going to have to come off. He has a lower leg injury, and we'll have to see who his replacement is. Penn State in scoring position with about 2.5 minutes left, huh? Before the halftime.
Oh,
it happened again, didn't it, Coach?
Bad throw from Penn State. Overthrew his man, and this time Wheeling's collected the ball and regained possession. So they have an opportunity now to relieve themselves from that Penn State pressure.
That was a nice dummy by fly half Michael Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, he could see that Wheeling, Penn State was up in defense real hard against his back, so there wasn't any point in passing it out. It ends up being a penalty again for Wheeling.
Michael's from, excuse me, Coach, he's from Melbourne, Australia, so he probably has a little experience playing rugby.
Penalty kick for touch. Doesn't reach touch, but it's not backed. And dropped by a Penn State player. The Wheeling player then ended up kicking the ball out of bounds, so we have line out Penn State.
Yeah, that's Ron Gregg's nice effort, but just kind of got unlucky with the ball there. Just like you said, it doesn't take much. One mistake, and now we got to switch the field position.
Another steal from Wheeling. Great job. Fortunately, a poor pass to their forwards on the blind side, and we have it out of bounds and a Penn State lineout.
Penn State's going to have to fix this because they're missing a jumper. I mean, rugby gives you an advantage these days. You get to boost the guy up in the air and provide a target for the hooker that's throwing the ball in. And I think this is about 3 times we've seen him miss that person.
But even so, there was a knock on apparently, and the referees called a scrum for Penn State.
I think they prefer that at this point in the game.
When you knock the ball on and it goes forward and goes out of bounds without touching somebody else, the opposition now has the choice of a line out or a scrum. And Penn has had a pretty solid scrum, so they've taken the scrum, and they haven't had a good solid line out. But it's good scrummaging from Wheeling that got them pushed back and turned. Number 8 had to pick it up, put them in trouble. And again, good job of trying to poach the ball from Wheeling. Forced
Chris Burrion to hold on to the ball to help.
And they got a penalty. And although the buzzer is gone, according to the referee's watch, it was the sole control of time. This is one last chance for the half for Wheeling to maybe put a score on and take momentum going into halftime.
There's Vakasili again crashing in the middle. That looked like Andrew Wagner, number 7, did a nice little juke. But I'm not sure of the outcome. Can you?
It looks like he knocked on when he hit the ground. It's hard to see from this angle, but that will end the half.
That's unlucky. Holy smokes. Beautiful juke move, found space, and it looked like they get the score to get momentum going into halftime. And
But still, having that opportunity and keeping the pressure on them at half will do well for them as hopefully to start the second half. Penn State has recognized now that Wheeling is pretty quick out back, so their defense now seems to be rush defense or a blitz, and their whole line is coming up real fast and into the face of the Wheeling back. So it's getting a little bit more difficult for Wheeling to move the ball like they were in the early part of it.
So what do you think Penn State's going to do on the offense side? Because that's where they've been.
I'm not sure. A couple of times they've given it, their forwards have picked it up and run with it and got them yardage and been able to set them up. But they've only done it a couple of times. If they go to that, they might have a chance to wear down the Wheeling forwards by running at them and forcing them to tackle.
And if I'm Wheeling Jesuit, I think I'd want take advantage of those centers. They got great speed, and like you say, the rest of the team is fairly quick in support. Sort of create a seam, use your power and quickness, and create a seam and spin the ball out either left or right. And
Well, if Penn State's coming up hard and fast like they have been in the last few defensive lines, then it's a great opportunity to have somebody coming on an angle at speed for a small, short offload, because the players coming up real hard will have a difficult time reacting to try and make a tackle when the ball suddenly changed.
That's right.
Changed possession, going the other way. So we'll just see what happens on the on both sides and how they start to adjust.
Lee, Bo, we're going to take a short timeout here for half, and we'll be back with more play. Thank you for joining us on Cardinal Cast Live.
Great location, history, workforce, innovation. Is that what you think of when you hear the words Wheeling, West Virginia? Well, here's the real legacy of Wheeling. We were the first gateway to the West. We became a hub of the Industrial Revolution. We helped build the steel industry on our river, the coal industry in our hills. We became a haven for business innovation and some of the wealthiest business developers on the planet. Wheeling, West Virginia helped move the country forward. And what about now? There's a new Wheeling, one that's inviting to new and growing companies and creating jobs. It's a whole new approach, an innovative transition from an industrial-centered economy to one that brings together the best in low-overhead economic development, one that's attracting businesses with a global reach, creating new offices out of structures long forgotten, building a new energy sector revolution, and a thriving high-tech hub. A city that has turned a declining riverfront into a vibrant landmark. Building resorts and parks on iconic areas while maintaining historic integrity. Developing empty hillsides, lots, and fields into retail, educational, and healthcare destinations. Reducing tax burdens, and nurturing both small and large businesses. Once again, Wheeling is innovating, transforming, and most of all, inviting the world to live, work, and play in one of the safest cities in the U.S. What is it about this Wheeling metro area that's so inviting? Take a moment and explore. Wheeling does offer a pro-business environment, but also a pleasing blend of history, culture, fine dining, metropolitan features found both here and in our neighboring cities, outdoor recreation, and annual festivals, all guaranteed to provide you with true American hospitality. Wheeling is a riverfront city where the bluegrass meets jazz, blues, rock, and our own symphony. We are the heart of a vibrant metropolitan tri-state area with neighboring Ohio and Pennsylvania. A region of over more than 200,000 people, making us culturally alive and diverse.
We're back live right here on Cardinal Cast. Thank you. We got Rugby, Wheeling Jesuit University hosting Penn State. The Nittany Lions coming into town. Don Watson bringing you some of the action here from Bishop Schmidt Complex. Lee and Bo, our special announcers, thank you so much for being a part of Cardinal Cast.
Oh, this is a pleasure. This is great. We appreciate the opportunity to join you.
Yeah. So we're starting the second
A lot
half.
more interesting.
We're starting the second half with a 16-all tie, so it's a brand new game. And opening kickoff, first mistake is made by Penn as they knock the ball on from the kickoff. So we've got scrummage for Wheeling. And a set piece opportunity that maybe they can create a score from.
Ooh, it's a big drive by Penn State's pack.
And
Yeah.
they've stolen the ball. Big drive. The first one we've seen from them.
That's the
So
key for
Wheeling is
Bonagard.
now under pressure.
Yep.
Wheeling is up with a good hard tackle, but they're called a penalty against Wheeling. And I'm not quite sure what that referee signal is.
Yeah, well, Ron Greggs, I wouldn't worry about it too much because your opposite number is going to remember that hit. But here we are.
So it looked like Penn State put a couple of subs in. Number 21 has come in the pack.
That's Adam Elliott.
And that probably made a difference in that big push in the scrum. So Penn State is going to go for a penalty kick to try and take the lead. And the kick is good. So Penn State in the second half has taken the first opportunity to score and now takes the lead at 19-16 over Wheeling.
Yeah, having a good kicker puts a lot of pressure on a team because any mistakes within maybe 40 meters or so, is, you know you're in trouble. Might be points against you.
So let's see if Wheeling can regain possession on this kickoff. He does a nice short high kick. There's another knock on again by Penn State. Wheeling's gained possession and now they're on the attack. And we had a knock on by Wheeling, so he's coming back for the original knock on by Penn State.
Oh, I see, because I was wondering about that one, Coach.
I think if Wheeling's going to start to do stuff here, they're going to have to learn real quick how to maintain possession of the ball. They've been down in Penn State's end a lot, but either a penalty or knock on or bad pass, they've lost possession of the ball. They've got to be able to retain it to get that score.
Oh, my goodness.
Again, a big, huge push by the Penn State scrum, and they've regained possession.
Yeah, that Chris Burrian does a great job. Their number 8 just drives when he picks it up.
A nice chip downfield by Penn State has got Wheeling under pressure, and Penn State recovers the ball. Another opportunity for Penn State to attack.
Robin Rescue didn't find much room.
Wheeling's defense has got to make those first tackles up the field.
Zach Barnes ran into a brick wall of Jesuit players. Wheeling's defense is stealing up now.
Oop, a little miscue on Penn State. Puts them under pressure again. But Wheeling's been called for offside.
That was a long advantage, Lee.
It's the little things in this game when you're playing close to gain momentum that for the other team. Penalties, 3 points, make the lead a bit more.
Well, it's turnabout is fair play, too, in a wee bit, because Wheeling in the first half was all in Penn State's half and kept the pressure on and got a lot of points. And now I don't know what happened at that talk at halftime, but the pack is much stronger. They did make that substitution. And with Andy Elliott and the pack for Penn State, that steeled them up.
Ball is off the post. It's still live in play, and Wheeling has recovered it. So a little pressure taken off there, a chance to clear the pressure here. Wheeling looks like they're going to try to run the pressure off. Now they kick it down the field. Great long kick, still in bounds.
Mike
Chance
Ife
for Penn State to come back.
Mike Ife brings it up, winger for Penn State, and he's a little shifty guy. He's keeping his feet going.
Tackles.
That's Jack McClain for Penn State crashing, second row.
And it's stolen by Wheeling. Wheeling seems to have lost that spark of pressure and speed that they had in the first half. Again, 3 or 4 minutes.
That's Malcolm May. He got fresh legs in for Penn State, too. Malcolm May was clipped, but he kept running. You have to hold the person down in rugby, and he wasn't held.
And there's a penalty against Wheeling. Tackler not releasing.
It's getting a little chippy, Lee.
Well, it always happens. The Wheeling player holding on to the ball, which doesn't give Penn State the chance to do a quick tap and go. So they get a little aggressive at trying to get the ball back.
I tell you what, Penn State coach did some strategic substitution because he brought in Malcolm May, he brought in Adam Elliott, and they're two big guys, big mobile guys. They're fresh, and they've made a big difference this half so far.
Yeah, big change of momentum in this half for Penn State. They're putting the pressure on. They're playing down in Wheeling's end. And Wheeling seems to be missing tackles, which isn't helping, and then they get under pressure and they get a penalty against them. And now we have 3 more points for Penn State with a 22-16 lead. 8 minutes into the second half.
Jimmy Rowan is doing double duty, scrum half and kicking points, and he's doing a nice job. I think these next 5 minutes are key. I mean, for Wheeling, I think they're going to have to find a way to get their second win and get on the front foot.
Well, it looks like Wheeling's defensive structure has fallen down. I mean, you have to make that first up tackle so that the team can't get anywhere and your defense can get into its formation and structure. And once you have that, let a player through that gain line and into some open space, your structure breaks down and it's harder to regain it on defense.
They may need to make some subs to bring in some fresh blood. Penn State driving again. Michael DeBalas, the fly half, took his eye off the ball, but he's done a nice job of recovering. Drove it up the pitch for Penn State.
So Penn State is doing a good job of kicking it down to field the pressure on them. Unfortunately, Wheeling let the ball bounce. The Penn player knocked it on. The referee could have called a penalty there because the Penn State player, was ahead of the man that knocked it on and picked up the ball, so that Wheeling couldn't get any advantage. And normally that's a penalty. He probably just didn't see the position of the player that played the ball.
Isn't that considered a professional foul? These are college kids, Mr. Powell.
Learning to be professionals. Learning to be professionals. So we got scrum down for Wheeling. Let's see if they can hold that push well enough to gain some good possession of the ball.
Penn State pack must have drank some good Gatorade and ate a bowl of Wheaties because they are awfully strong this half.
Yeah, it's a totally different story from the first half when both packs seem to be pretty even and getting their own ball. But the Penn State scrum has taken over. Ball went out of bounds. We got Penn State lineup. Yeah, it's at least stolen by Wheeling. Referee's got his arm out for advantage for Wheeling. I'm not sure what the call will be.
Jamie Barlow has a little room. Drops it off to the fullback, Alan Hansen. He's shifty. Alan Hansen is still moving to the winger, Ryan Greggs. Ryan Greggs again. Wheeling is just driving.
Well, they got that opportunity to move the ball wide, but
Mike
there's
Fitzpatrick.
a penalty against Penn State, but unfortunately Wheeling had lost that advantage because they knocked the ball on. So we have a penalty for Wheeling at the 15-yard line, and they are down 22-16.
Yeah, Michael Fitzpatrick had a nice break, but spilled the ball when he got tackled.
So Wheeling's going to kick for 3 points, try to narrow the gap between them and Penn State. But it's those little things that are fortunately happening to Wheeling in the end. Like they had advantage, an overlap, but again, you knock the ball on in contact, and that's you have to have that ball retention when you're inside what we call the red zone, the 20-meter end. You got to maintain that ball possession if you're going to have an opportunity to score.
That's right. Yeah.
Knock on bad passes or penalties, you take away your momentum and opportunities to score.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get a try at that point, but at least they get 3.
So the kick is good, and the score is now 22 for Penn State and 19 for Wheeling Jesuit.
Oh, it's Brandon Stein that put that through for Wheeling.
With just about 27 minutes gone and left in the second half.
The crowd is waking up here. They know it's a great game. That's Peter Malcolm on the take. That number 8 has been busy all day for Wheeling. That's Legang Nwinga from Zimbabwe for Wheeling that was driving that ball. Dominic Piazza digs it out. He gets it to Labanga again, but this time Penn State hasn't wrapped up, Lee.
But he's still fighting forward, keeping the pressure on, got good ball back. And again, a chance to move it wide. Penn State again is coming up hard on their backs to try to shorten that field so they can't get it out wide. Well, it's got a bit unfortunate for Penn State. Wheeling again had trouble in the ruck, maintaining good possession of the ball, and the ball popped out, but Penn State guy knocked it on trying to pick it up, so we got scrum for Wheeling.
Let's see who makes a statement with this drum.
If Penn State's putting the pressure on the Wheeling scrum, then their number 8 has to probably pick the ball up right away, not worry about the scrum half, so that they know they're going to maintain possession. He's done a great job so far today when needed to be picking the ball up in the first half and taking off and running with it. So once that ball gets back to that where he's got to concentrate on picking the ball up, which he did, and they get a good chance to put pressure on Penn State.
Mike Fitzpatrick did a great kick.
Penn State let the ball bounce. And unfortunately, the Wheeling player made contact with a Penn State player that was in the air as he was coming down, which you cannot do.
And he's injured himself in the process, unfortunately.
So it's a penalty against Wheeling. And again, a chance for Penn State to relieve the pressure, which they didn't do because they didn't.
They kicked it to
bounds.
Michael Fitzpatrick, the fly half, who puts the ball down the field again.
Yeah, unfortunately, he kicked it too far. It went through the end zone. So the Penn State team has an option of a 22 or a scrum back where he kicked it from because it went through the end zone. So they've selected the scrum just past midfield to give them an opportunity to put more pressure on Wheeling. So it looks like number 15, unfortunately, has got a problem with his wrist. Probably hit the knee of the player while it was in the air.
Yeah, that's Alan Hansen. That's a tough break for a Wheeling. He was having a good game. Jimmy Ronins.
Good push by Wheeling for a change, but Penn State maintains possession from their scrum.
Jimmy Ronan did a nice job recycling the ball for Penn State.
Fortunately, the ball went out of bounds. Penn State seemed to be more aggressive to go after that ball than Wheeling was, but when he popped that ball back, looking to maintain possession, he stepped out of bounds. So we got a Wheeling line out about their 30-yard line. Wheeling's had a great day of lineouts. They've stolen a few and pretty well much maintained possession.
Oh, that's a great pass. Oh, my. That's unfortunate. Missed opportunity for Wheeling.
Yeah. Kind of interesting that the ref left that push go on the Wheeling player that could have gone over for support.
That was Aaron Gray that kind of got things going. He's got those bright pink shoes. He's another Washington, D.C. athlete and showed some speed. Nice flash of speed. And unfortunately for Wheeling Jesuit, that Ryan couldn't hold on to the ball.
And we got a penalty again for Wheeling for not releasing the tackler. Good pressure by Penn State.
Yeah, so as that folks know, that was Aaron Gray who came in from Washington, D.C. He subbed for Alan Hansen, who had to come off for Wheeling because of that wrist injury.
Penn State's going for another 3 off that penalty.
Good. Midway through this second half.
Yeah, a lot of time what happens is the players start to get tired, and then when they get pressure on them, they get frustrated, and then they make mistakes like not releasing, being offside, which in this situation could cost them 3 points.
Jimmy Ronan kicks.
Kick is good. So with just under 20 minutes left to play, we now have Penn State at 25, Wheeling Jesuit at 19. You just hear a fan say pick up the pace. It does look like Wheeling has lost some of that oomph that they had before. Their pace seems to have slowed down, and tackling, they were doing great in the first half, seems to have slowed down.
That 20 degrees extra heat coming off that carpet is making a difference, I think, to the Wheeling players.
You know, Bo, you mentioned earlier the size difference and the weight difference. I'm wondering if it has to play in a little bit in there, too.
That's right, fighting and charging against those guys all day. That's right.
For our fans out there that don't recognize the voices, Lee Powell from Canada, Bo Newsman from the Washington, D.C. area, thank you so much for being a part of Cardinal Cast.
That's it, thanks, yep.
Pleasure to be here. Love watching a great game of rugby.
That was
So
a
a double
sloppy
knock.
line out.
I couldn't understand your accent. It's Bo Newsom, and you said Bo Newsom, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
That Texas twang messed me up with it, but I got it now. We're good.
Isn't he a singer? So we had double knock on the line out. The first one by Wheeling when they were trying to steal it, and the second one by Penn State. So we have scrum down from the first knock on going to Penn State.
You guys aren't supposed to pick up on that accent.
So again, a mistake by Wheeling has gotten Penn State off of the pressure situation and into a opportunity to put Wheeling under pressure.
Someone said we're going to get some brisket after this game. Rumor has it. Not as much drive off the Penn State scrum this time. It's just holding it steady.
Heading to State to get a good ball. Again, missed tackle and off Penn
Oh,
State
nice
goes.
offload to Kevin Trotter.
Oh, another
Back
nice
to the
pass.
winger, Mike F.
Penn State's away for a try.
F's getting another, I think it's his second try today.
Under the post.
My.
So
Yeah.
Wheeling came up and put real pressure on him, but he wasn't set up to tackle. He just ran at him. It was just a quick sidestep, and all of a sudden you're gone. Penn State's gone with an overlap. And some nice passing out to the winger, and then a good 8-yard pass back inside, and off he went.
Yeah, I think the fans have picked up on something. Wheeling Jesuits kind of lost a little steam between heat, fighting a really tough side, and then I think we have to give Penn State some credit. Whatever the coach went in at halftime and changed their defense, added some pressure, and did some things on offense, and it's paying off. I mean, that's rugby.
So after that kick with just over 16 minutes left to go in the game, it is 32 for Penn State and 19 for Wheeling Jesuit. So it's been all Penn State the second half in the scoring. And Wheeling's game just doesn't seem to be the same one that they were playing in the first half.
In rugby, there's a lot of time. You can hear the fans urging their team to get it going. Wheeling decided the team needed the boost, and they've substituted in Zachary Holler from Fairpoint, New York.
Looks like they've added a little beef to the front row for those scrums.
They're setting up another play because they just locked it out again, Lee. That's Penn State. Fly.
Again.
Aaron Gray recovers it, but oh my, just.
Oh, lucky play.
Yes.
Penn State again, let's play down in their end, kicks the ball down. Unfortunate Wheeling let the ball bounce. And Wheeling player had trouble when he picked it up and got under pressure. But an offside call against Penn State gives Wheeling a chance to clear for touch.
My guess is Aaron Gray is a sevens player because he got that ball and he was just looking to offload it.
Yeah, it was a very poor offload from him. You know, you're in trouble, you don't try to offload the ball while you're in trouble because it just creates more trouble.
That's it.
But lucky for Wheeling, there was a penalty, and they now have a chance to hopefully move in and maybe make a score off possession of this lineup.
Number 4 from Penn State.
The first line out that Wheeling home ball have lost. Again, a critical time in the game to be losing your own ball in the line out.
Yeah, it was Jack McClain that got the upper hand in that tipping in the line out.
There's a mistake from Penn State, a knock on, and hopefully a chance for Wheeling to counter attack and do something. Unfortunately.
Right to Aaron Gray. Aaron Gray's got some wheels. Will he help Greg out this time? Oh, that's support. Chris Vasek-Sakakale was right there in support. The new prop. Zachary Haller drove it up.
Nice.
Oh, yes, the Julian Santana, the hooker.
Now they're moving the ball wide. Oh, with the dummy.
Michael Fitzpatrick from Australia does a nice move. In for the try.
Nice dummy by Wheeling's fly half that puts them back in the game with a try under the post.
Michael Fitzpatrick showing his experience.
We got an entry on the field for Penn State. And the fans in the stands have come alive with that try and seeing the potential of back in the game and maybe an opportunity for a win. We have just over 12 minutes left in the game. It looks like the Penn State player got a cut and he's come off for some taping for blood. In substitutions, the player, if he's cut, can come off to get fixed up for bleeding and go back into the game once it's patched up.
Brandon Stein looking at kick middle of the post.
Kick is good. The score now stands Penn State 32, Wheeling Jesuit 26.
Back within a try.
Within a score with just under 12 minutes to play. So we saw again back there, we saw that Wheeling opportunity. They took opportunity. They had the speed, pace, moving the ball. So they sort of came to life in that last frame of play. Let's see if they can continue to do it.
Michael Gromacki tried to get it for Wheeling.
Unfortunately, Penn State took possession. And once they took possession, we now have a penalty again, not rolling away by Wheeling. So it's Penn State with an opportunity to kick it down the field and have a line out, putting pressure on Wheeling again.
Whoa, there's a battle there for that line out.
And Wheeling has stolen the line out. And they're attacking from deep in their own end.
Alois Randika running up from Sri Lanka.
Again, fly half kicks to put pressure on. Play down on Penn State's end, hopefully.
I didn't want to give it to Michael Ife, though. Michael
Another
Ife is a
missed
player.
tackle, another
Michael
missed
Ife
tackle.
he scored 2 tries already today. I wouldn't give it to him.
So the pressure they were hoping to get off of didn't happen with the 2 missed tackles. And now we have at the first ruck again, another penalty against Wheeling.
That was a short kick, but they're advancing down the pitch. Penn State still really hadn't fixed their lineouts yet.
No. Wheeling is controlled. Except for one lost lineout, Wheeling's had good control of the lineouts all day long. That one
There he goes again. Oh, my.
That lineout wasn't straight, so Wheeling now has the choice of a lineout or a scrum.
There it is. Penn State's got some work after this game. We know what one of their points of focus will be.
And Wheeling has selected the scrum. So I guess they're hoping that the new bodies they put in the scrum will hold it. They've been winning all their lineouts, but they've run into some trouble in scrums, so they've selected the scrum. Number 8 pops it back out to the number 9, but again, they're put into trouble because they didn't have good control of the scrum.
Yeah, sometimes the forwards kind of say, hey, look, give us a try, and in this case, it didn't pay off for Wheeling.
They've lost the ball to Penn State. Penn State now has them under pressure.
Chris Burrian again.
10-yard line.
Chris Burrian, that's that number 8 again for Penn State, just driving it up 10 meters.
And then another penalty now against Wheeling. And Penn State's going for the kick to increase their lead and make it a 2-score game. So if Wheeling wants to come back with just over 7 minutes left, they'll have a lot of work to do.
Now, that does happen in games. I mean, at every level where the forwards say, look, you got to have some confidence in us. We don't want to go do a line-out. We want to kind of just show our muscle, and they got burned, I guess, in this case. The fans aren't enthusiastic about the ref's call today, but.
And the kick is good. The score now is 35 for Penn State, 26 for Wheeling Jesuit with 7 minutes left to play in the match.
Jimmy Ronan is piling up the points. He's been pretty steady with his foot and doing a nice job of digging out the ball and giving his team, Penn State, a chance on offense this second half. Now, usually in this game, the way it's been, Wheeling responds fairly quickly.
Well, they gained possession off the kick, which is good. And settle the ball down and then move it wide real quick. Fly half.
Michael Fitzpatrick.
Back in.
Michael Fitzpatrick.
A good offload. Another good offload.
Augie Murphy. The subs are playing their role this second half.
Has
Greggs.
trying to answer it.
To the big prop, number 3.
And he do answer it.
Max Lum. Yeah, that's been the way it's been going all day, Lee.
Yeah.
One team gets up and the other team says, well, guess what? We're not finished yet.
Somebody lit a fire, that's for sure. So Wheeling scored a beautiful try down in the corner. It's a 4-point spread. A tough kick for Wheeling. But if you make this, it'll be down to a 2-point game. It's pretty exciting today. It's back and forth. It's a tough match. And one of these two teams have usually been side by each in the Goff standings.
Brendan Stein to attempt the conversion.
The wind is picked up.
Oh! Beauty!
Great kick, great kick. The score now stands Penn State 35, Wheeling Jesuit 33 with 5 minutes left in the match. Penn State is kicking off to Wheeling, so hopefully they gain good possession of the ball and can make good use of it.
Punch and counter punch.
Tapped back by Penn State. They've maintained control of the ball. It's unfortunate for Wheeling.
That was Talakio. Nice job of recovering the ball for kickoff. Penn State's going back to the forwards. Now it's Andrew Escaro, the hooker, driving up. Size again.
Another penalty against Wheeling. I can't see or understand the signal, so I don't know what the call was, but it seems that every time in this half Wheeling's been put under some good pressure, they've had a penalty against them. So an opportunity for Penn State to extend their lead to 5 points.
Penn State's using those big guys and just driving straight ahead. Get 10, drive ahead, get 10, drive ahead, get 10. And hoping to break through, or the way it's been happening, cause Wheeling to break the rules, break the law. No pressure on Ronan. It's Jimmy Ronan now, is it? He didn't feel it.
Kick is good. He's been pretty consistent all day. The score now stands Penn State 38, Wheeling 33 with just under 3 minutes to play. So Wheeling's going to have to light another fire, go down and get a try. Unfortunately, another mistake by Wheeling. The kickoff went straight out of bounds. So it comes back and it's scrummed down at center for Penn State.
Yeah, Michael Fitzpatrick tried to do what they did the last time to get that spark, but as forwards, you got to wait for the big heavies, you know. If you can do that, you got to have your forwards ready and ready to take advantage of it.
So this is a big scrum for Wheeling. If they want to get that ball back, they will hopefully be able to disrupt Penn State's scrum.
The backs are staring each other eye to eye. The forwards are wiping the sweat and tightening those muscles for this scrum. This is a big moment right here.
Ooh, penalty for collapsing the scrum against Penn State.
Wow.
With just under 2 minutes left, this is the opportunity for Wheeling to kick the ball down and put pressure on Penn State from a line out. And an opportunity to score.
Michael Fitzpatrick does a nice job of getting the ball downfield.
So it's Wheeling's line out at Penn State 30-yard line with less than 2 to go.
They need a try, Wheeling does.
A try to tie and a kick to win. Free kick to Penn State. I don't see a signal from the referee as to why the free kick. So Wheeling must have crossed over the line on the jump, which you're not allowed to do. You have to stay in the center. Penn State's going to wear down the clock by keeping it amongst their forwards and ball in hand. With a few seconds left to go, this is a good option for Penn State. Nothing fancy, ball control, run the clock down.
Robert Mescue The center drove it up for Penn State. Oh, and they make a mistake.
So last opportunity, holding on. Good chance for Wheeling, and they tap and go. This is it for them.
Big Zachary Holler is driving it up to prop that subbed in.
They're inside the 20-yard line. Oh, he passed it out to somebody's isolated.
To Max Lum, the hooker.
Ball is still in bounds and pretty tight over in that sideline. This is it. The buzzer is gone. Ball is out of bounds. Referee calls the game.
Oh, my goodness.
End
what
of
a
the
game.
game with Penn State taking the win, 38-33.
I'm exhausted, and I'm just
Good,
watching.
Close, tough,
Yeah,
great match.
that was good rugby.
Whoa, I tell you what, that was an exciting match up there. WJU goes down, hosting Penn State 38-33. Looking at some of the highlights there. Lee Powell, Bo Newsman, thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast today. It has been a pleasure.
It is a pleasure.
A pleasure
I have
working
learned
with
so
you.
much, and I know that everybody that's been watching has learned a lot.
Appreciate it.
That's about it for us right here. We'll be back on Cardinal Cast in just a few moments. We got volleyball coming up. Wheeling Jesuit and Seton Hill live on Cardinal Cast.